Okie dokie. We're off like a herd of turtles. Here we go. On y va. Salut, bon voyage. Tchuss, auf Wiedersehen. Arrivederci. Grisniac, prosnic. Do swidania. Let's go. Asi sneak to another si Pokino. Okay, are you ready? We'll try it again. On your right, our first French Catholic Prime Minister, Sir Wilfrid Laurier. Across the street on your right, a Scotsman, English Protestant, our first Prime Minister, Sir John A. Macdonald, came to Montreal as a wee lad of 17. Devant vous, c'est Marie, Reine du Monde. C'est une réplique de Saint-Pierre à Rome, mais c'est 1/10, c'est plus petit. Sur le toit, devant vous, à Marie, Reine du Monde, vous allez voir les 13 saints de chaque partie de Montréal qui a donné de l'argent pour cette église qui était construite en 1871. You guys, can you see the beautiful Mary Queen of the World in front of you on your left? When you look up on the roof, those aren't the 12 apostles. They're the 13 saints of the different boroughs in Montreal that gave money for the construction, which was completed in 1871. Pretty nice. Now you guys can go in there. Do you know when they shoot movies and they need to have the inside of the Vatican in Rome? They can't shoot inside, so they come to Montreal to shoot the throne. Yeah, I'm full of useless information like this. À votre droite, vous voyez Reine Elizabeth. C'était construit en 1952. C'est vraiment notre premier hôtel moderne avec les grands salons de conférence. You guys, on your right is the Queen Elizabeth Hotel. You know, that was our first hotel with huge convention rooms, 1952. You know who the first client is? I love this. I never mentioned John Lennon or Yoko Ono. I prefer this. The first client was Fidel Castro. Can you imagine? No smoking in the room, said the little bellhop to Fidel. I don't think so. I really don't think so. Alors, bientôt, à votre gauche, vous allez voir Parc Saint-André. On va visiter son église tantôt, c'est gratuit aujourd'hui. L'oratoire Saint-Joseph, ça va être numéro 7. Do we have anybody from Ireland here? Anybody from Ireland? People go, the Irish first came to North America during the potato famine. Wrong. They came early with the Scots. They had not a farthing to their names. So in 1710, they took the shilling from a young King George and became lobsters, redcoats. That's who we are. That's who George Washington was. And our first St. Patrick's Day parade was in 1824. And every day St. Patrick's Day parade on my bus, you can wave to people. They won't give you the finger, they'll wave back. At the third intersection on your right is the largest Irish church in Canada, St. Patrick's. For those of you who know your Canadian history, that is where Darcy McGee was shot. Alors, la première parade Saint-Patrick a eu lieu en 1824. Vous allez voir au troisième feu rouge à votre droite, le plus grande église irlandais au Canada, la basilique Saint-Patrick, 1847. La seule église à Montréal, d'ailleurs, qui n'était pas touchée par le feu à Montréal. Do we have anybody from the Mississippi? Anybody from Louisiana, Virginia? Anybody from Alabama? Okay, you guys, during the American Civil War, 60% of Southern tobacco was cured in Montreal. And after Fort Sumter, Mrs. Davis was receiving very unwholesome lettuce. So, look to your left, that's the big department store, the Hudson Bay. That is where Jefferson Davis family lived throughout the whole duration of the Civil War, north of the Mason-Dixon line. Oh yeah, I'm just beginning. We're going to talk more about Montreal and its role in American history as we go along. À votre gauche, à l'autre côté de la rue, à votre gauche, vous avez le siège social de une des plus grandes compagnies des ingénieurs au monde, SNC Lavalin. You guys, on your left, the charcoal building, that's one of the largest engineering firms in the world, SNC Lavalin. Recently, it's got some bad press. I ain't going there. Okay, who's been to the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem? We have a Wailing Wall. At the second traffic light down on your left, you're going to see a turquoise building. You're going to see a black wall. You're going to see guys banging their heads against that wall. It's Revenue Tax Canada. Oh, yes, mais, hein? Ah, ben oui. Alors, nous on a, en bas de la côte, à votre gauche, c'est les impôts, hein, fédéral. And you guys, you know, in North America, we tip, right? What makes the world go round? We tip in North America. How much do we leave? 15%. So when you go to Reuben's or the restaurant and you receive your bill, add up the federal tax and provincial tax, that'll give you 15%. OK? Quand vous allez au resto pour pourboire, ici en Amérique du Nord, on donne des pourboires au resto, c'est 15%. Alors quand vous allez recevoir votre facture, on paye 2 taxes ici à Québec. On paye le provincial, puis on paye le fédéral. C'est juste environ 15%. You know, I told the rabbi, I said, Rabbi, money is like love. You can't keep it. You have to let it go around. You know, you can't take it with you. He looked at me and said, then I'm not going. All right. On va être rendu bientôt à Vieux-Montréal, puis quartier chinois. C'est the Festival of Orange Cones. C'est le festival des cônes oranges hein, aujourd'hui. L'échafaudage des cônes oranges. Hein. C'est partout, construction. J'ai jamais vu ça. You know, I'm from Montreal all my life. I've never seen so much construction, but it's good. We have to rebuild the roads and everything, right? It gets hot in the summer and cold in the winter, so... c'est ça. Froid l'hiver, chaud l'été, c'est dur sur l'infrastructure. Alors, on est en train de réparer les tuyaux et tout ça. Alors, on va tourner à droite et bientôt, on va être rendu à arrêt numéro 1. OK, le quartier chinois. Puis j'ai un très bon restaurant là, l'usine des nouilles, si vous voulez manger dans le quartier chinois. You guys, I'm gonna introduce you to one of my favorite restaurants, the Noodle Factory. The Noodle Factory. And you know, that's where you can buy white, broad, chewy rice noodles for the dry beef chow fun, hand-rolled, juicy Shanghai noodles for the seafood stir-fry. As a matter of fact, if you eat at that restaurant and you're vegan and gluten intolerant, it will kill you. Alors, on va tourner à droite. À l'horizon, vous allez voir les 2 clochers de Notre-Dame. Puis, vous allez voir la presse. À votre gauche, le plus grand journal quotidien francophone en Amérique du Nord. Ladies and gentlemen, can you see the 2 bell towers of Notre-Dame? There they are. They were added a bit later by John Estelle. They have names. The one on the left is called Temperance. I remember because it's the one across the street from the wine shop. Hey, who was the first Canadian in outer space? It wasn't Mark Garneau. It was a good Jewish boy from Montreal, William Shatner. Da-dee-da-da-da-da-da. And he graduated with a business degree from McGill. My old alma mater, we're going there later, and it was at McGill where he learned about dilithium crystals and phase shifting. Now, when we cross the street on your right, this looks like something out of Star Trek: The Next Generation. It's one of the largest convention centers in North America. It goes on for 6 city blocks. Can you see it? Look at the size of it. It looks like a bunker. And in architecture, yeah, that's it. Yeah, across the street, kitty corner, on your bowsprit starboard. And you know what this is called in architecture, this style? Neo-brutalism. Alors, à votre droite, à l'autre côté de la rue, c'est un des plus grands palais de congrès en Amérique du Nord. OK? C'est notre palais de congrès. Énorme. Puis, ça, à votre droite, c'est le village international des banques. On va parler de ça tantôt. Guys, we're coming up to our first stop. Now, do we have any musicians aboard? For 25 years, I earned my living as an orchestral bass player. And, you know, Mahler, Bruckner. But my first instrument was electric guitar. A Gibson L5S 1972 Cherry Sunburst. You gotta have one. And when we stop, we're gonna look to your left. You're gonna see the largest guitar shop in Canada, Steve's Music. And Steve's, it says right there on their t-shirt, man, if they don't have it, you don't need it. But I got Mike Gibson right there at the pawn shop at Jack's. There he is on the left, waiting like a spider. He has a different philosophy. If you don't need it, he's gonna sell it to you anyway. Alors voilà mes amis, on est presque rendu à Notre-Dame, le Vieux-Montréal, et le quartier chinois, et aussi le port, aussi. C'est pas loin, c'est juste 3 rues sud. Alors voilà. Et... je ne sais pas, est-ce que c'est mieux? Ah. Pas facile, c'est le même. Oui, mais vous pouvez changer, mais à 11 heures.
I thought it was an illusion, but it does go up.
Oui, au revoir. Timothy Vernon, great conductor from Vancouver. Okay, folks, are you ready? In 1864, Lieutenant Bennett Young from Virginia, the 1st Cavalry, he came up here. He wore gray, right? He was a Southern. He came up here on the longest Illinois at the time, got on the horn to Abraham Lincoln and said, Mr. President, while we're at it, why don't we just take Canada? This helps speed up our Confederation of Canada. What happened to Lieutenant Bennett Young? He was persona non grata for 8 years. He got his law degree in Montreal and went back, became a very successful lawyer. You have to tell me what happened to the $200,000 in the saddlebags. Yeah. Alors, ici, dans le Vieux-Montréal, vous avez les 3 palais de justice. À votre droite, Grand Palais de justice moderne. À votre gauche, le centre hospitalier de l'Université de Montréal. Are there people upstairs?
Yeah.
They froze to death.
À votre droite, c'est l'ancien. Okay, I'm going to talk in English. On your right is the old courthouse, okay, where in 1845 Lieutenant Bennett Young was found not guilty. 1845, okay. On your right is also City Hall, 1871. Le tribunal, oui, c'est ça. On va faire ça en français, mais quand je parle anglais, il faut rester, hein? Sinon, je suis un homme, je peux faire une chose à la fois. C'est compris? Merci. Okay, you guys, on your right is the first courthouse, 1845. À votre droite, c'est la première palais de justice, mais à votre droite, vous avez le mairie, 1871. On your right is City Hall, 1871. Okay, we're going to turn right. When we go up the hill, at the top of the hill is the Calvé House, where Benjamin Franklin started the first French Free Press newspaper for the common man, and where it was American for 188 days. What flag are they flying? We're going to see. On va tourner à droite pour rendre en haut de la... Okay, we're going to turn right. We're going up. Now, who's been to the Nelson Monument in England? That was erected. England expects every man to do his duty. That's 1842. We have the first Nelson Monument in the world, 1809, coming up on your right. And by the way, my fellow Canadians, that is the first monument in Canada. So coming up in front of you is the Chateau de Ramsay Museum. What flag are they flying? They could be flying the old Union Jack. They could be flying the pre-Rev War American flag. They could be flying the old French Marine flag. Devant vous, vous avez le château de Ramsay. Le sieur de Ramsay était le gouverneur à Montréal en 1705. C'est une vraie maison de la régime français, devant vous. On your right, there's Nelson. Now that's English Protestant. I bet, right there on your right, starboard midships. I bet you $20 US that across from him is a French Catholic seaman. Sea officer. Okay, that's right. In Montreal, wherever you see somebody who represents English Protestant, across the street you have something that represents French Catholic. Now you have to understand that the Catholics were here first, but they, under the auspices later, to be Huguenots. It's complex. But the Brits were here afterwards on the shirt tails, but the French were here first. We'll get into that. Alors voilà, à votre droite, vous avez l'hôtel de ville, et derrière la colonne. Okay, so behind the Nelson Monument is our third public square in Montreal, Jacques Cartier Square. There's the old French Marine flag. Voyez-vous, ça c'est l'ancien drapeau de la frange de la marine de la France. Okay? You need it. Okay, now on your left is the third public square in Montreal, Jacques Cartier Square. This is where we're going to go later on today to look at people. Okay, now tomorrow is Saturday, Adriana, and there's going to be weddings on your right at the first courthouse. Look to your right. Tomorrow morning, you're going to see the bride, the groom, the Rolls Royces. Yeah, on your right, the first courthouse. Okay, you're going to see the bride and the groom signing the registry in front of the classical portico with its ionic fluted columns. I love Bill Daddy, the troth, the sacred troth. A few years has passed. Daddy, Bill's not the man I married. On your left, the Court of Appeal, 1929. À votre gauche, la Cour d'appel, 1929. What's this in front of you, my fellow Americans? Mickey D's, McDonald's, we do it all for you. Where the McDonald's is now, listen up, where there lived two men, both from Montreal, Duluth and Cadillac. And after they supersized their trios, they went out west. Duluth founded Minnesota. Cadillac did one better. He founded the city of Detroit and became the first lieutenant governor of Louisiana. Am I getting through to you people? Okay, good. Où vous voyez le McDo maintenant, c'était la maison de Lomé de la Motte, le sieur du Cadillac, le fondateur de Detroit et le premier gouverneur de la Louisiane. Okay, look to your left. Do you see the big signs, Bureau à louer? You see for rent. You see you call Tony. Now yesterday we had a couple from Virginia. The lady was in her 80s. She said, I am somewhat perplexed. You have these huge signs everywhere for a lover. Call Tony. A cell phone number. How can that be? Are they Lotharios? All right. Devant vous, vous avez une des premières rues à Montréal, rue Saint-Paul. Okay, you guys, at the end of the street, you have the beautiful IMAX theater on the King Edward Pier. Now later on you can warm up in a dark cinema in 70 millimeter watching giant pandas get high on eucalyptus trees. The architecture that you see is Scottish. It's Scottish. They're the people who built in North America. When you go to Old Quebec, it's Scottish. It looks like Edinburgh. All the architecture you see dates from 1840 to 1870. Okay, we're going to turn right, and we're coming up to our second stop, the first public square in Montreal, Royal Square, 1648, where last night we had a double public hanging. No tourists asking too many questions. It's not true. À votre droite, des entrepôts écossais 1850. Look at this old street on your right. Thank you, Tony. You're wonderful. Look at that old street. That street dates from 1658, 1658. Somebody asked me last week, was it a one-way? I don't know. I don't know what to do. Yeah, tourists. Well, you know what? I love them. You guys, you know what? I'm going to keep you. You guys are all right. Alors voilà, on débarque ici pour musée archéologique, le Vieux-Montréal, Notre-Dame de Bon Secours, l'église Notre-Dame, marché Bon Secours, enfin, le Vieux-Montréal. Okay, on débarque ici. This is number 2. And at this point in time, it's time for me to talk about Downton Abbey and the Titanic. There's got to be a morning after. Okay, this is stop number 2, everybody, of Turtles. On your left, everything's very Victorian. So on your left is the Alexandra Pier. This is where the ships moor. Now, Alexandra was a very handsome Danish princess. She married King Edward VII, which is the next peer, who, of course, was the son of Queen Victoria. So everything's very Victorian. Alors, à votre droite, au bout de la rue, on descend là. C'est des... Okay. So, on your left is a horse and buggy ride. Every time I try to talk. It's $85 for an hour. The tip and the carrot are included. Salut! So in front of you, that's where we received the first SOS of the Titanic. The statue you see is a Scotsman named John Young. He was an engineer. He modernized the Lachine Canal, which is at your left. The Lachine Canal was the cradle of the Industrial Revolution in 1827. 14 kilometers long, 14 meters high, has 5 locks. On your left is a very famous landmark in the world. It's Habitat 67. Built in 1967, it comprises of 341 cubes. Meant to evoke a Sephardic village clinging to a hill, the work of a young architect from Israel, Moshe Safdie, $1.5 million a cube. À votre gauche, c'est la vie en cube. Okay, on your left is a floating health spa called Bota Bota Montreal. Later on, they're going to be firing up the jacuzzis. I highly recommend. It's cold today, but ladies, it's an awesome spa, and it's not expensive. There's nothing like being in a hot jacuzzi on a cold day like this, right? On your left is silo number 5. During the Second World War, we had 8 of these silos. We were one of the largest grain ports in North America. All the Captain Crunch and Cheerios that came from the west of Canada, we put into these silos. We don't use silos anymore. We use containers. So it's empty. It's a boutique hotel and a discotheque for the pigeons. Tell me, when will you be mine? Condo, condo, condo. When I was a boy, I had my nose broken down here. It smelled of stevedore sweat, diesel, and malt. Now, you can buy a condo down here for $6.5 million. Thank you. On your left is the multimedia city. Anybody good designing software for CGI? You can get yourself a gig and then you can buy the condo. On your right in front of you is where Marlon Brando made his last film before he died with Robert De Niro called The Score. It's our old customs house. Alors, à Montréal, on a 5 villages. Chaque village a leur lampadaire. Vous allez voir à votre droite et à votre gauche, vous avez les lampadaires anciennes. Vous êtes dans le Vieux-Montréal. You guys, we have 5 villages in Montreal. Each village has its own style of lamp. So if you look to the right, look to the left, old-fashioned lamps, honey, we're in Old Montreal. We're going to talk in each village, I'll show you the lamps. Yeah. Alors, mes amis, à votre droite, on est renommé pour ça mondialement, c'est des hôtels boutiques. Vous avez devant vous, à votre droite, Hôtel Boutique Saint-Paul. You guys were famous for this, boutique hotels. On your right is the St. Paul Hotel. And on your left, remember the Grand Trunk Railway? Remember Lieutenant Bennett Young, who held up the banks in St. Albans? Well, this is the Grand Trunk Railway building that in 1858 built the longest bridge in the world, our Victoria Bridge, linking Montreal with New England 3 years before the American Civil War. United States, this changed our history, this one little bridge. All right. Alors, on va être rendu bientôt, mes amis, à la village international des banques. Okay? So you guys, we're going to be coming to the next village, the International Village Banking. But before we do that, it's time for theme number 6 on my tour, Funny Names for Irish Pubs in Montreal. Are you ready? Let's give it a go. Coming up on your right, funny names for Irish pubs. This is one of my favorite names for an Irish pub. Pub number 1, The Confessional. Bless me, Father. À votre droite, vous allez voir le bistrot, le jardin de le bistrot chez Boris. OK? Alors, vous allez voir, c'est à votre droite, c'est un jardin. Puis là, vous pouvez manger du gibier, des waptis, des orignales. Voyez-vous le jardin à votre droite? C'est une très bonne place à manger des gibiers qui vient de Québec. On your left, Five Guys Hamburgers. Thank you, America. I love you. Prince Edward Island Redskin spuds cut up into little juliennes, deep fried in fresh peanut oil. I gotta have that. My driver Tony and I, we're gonna open up one right across the street on the right, but Montreal style. We're gonna call it the Three Chicks. You wanna go to the Five Guys? Nah, sweetheart, I'm thinking Three Chicks today. All right. I'm a desperate man. I'm working over here. You guys are great. Thank you. I'm somewhere between Don Rickles and George Carlin. I wish. Okay. Isn't he wonderful? I love him. That's what I get. No, I'm thinking Three Chicks. All right. So you... Okay, you guys, in front of you is the International Village, modern street lamps, you see? Modern street lamps. And on your left, you're going to see, it looks like a giant Tootsie Roll. Okay, on your left is the Stock Exchange Building, the International Aviation Association. On your right is the World Trade Center Montreal. Alors, mesdames et messieurs, à votre gauche, c'est la Bourse de Montréal. Et à votre gauche, vous avez l'Association internationale d'aviation. Et à votre droite, devant vous, vous avez le Centre mondial commercial de Montréal des banques. Et on sait qu'on a changé de village, parce que, vous allez voir, il y a des lampadaires modernes. Alors, on quitte les anciens lampadaires pour quelques instants. You guys, what are we to France? We're like poor cousins. Whenever there's spring cleaning, Gaston, what do we do with this stuff? Give it to Montreal as a present. Okay. So, Eiffel was a very tall, slender man, sort of like Don Quixote. His chief engineer was an old round dude like Sancho Panza Gaston. One day, Eiffel turns to Gaston, he says, Gaston, I want to put 18 bells on my tower. Gaston says, okay, they put the 18 bells on the tower, it doesn't work. Eiffel turns to Gaston, what do we do with them bells? Gaston says, it's okay, boss, we'll give them to Montreal as a present. So now when we go to St. Joseph's Oratory, you will see and hear the 18 bells that were supposed to be for the Eiffel Tower. Alors, la France, on est gâtés. Vous êtes toujours en train de nous donner des cadeaux. Quand on va visiter l'Oratoire Saint-Joseph, il y a un clarion de 18 cloches qui était conçu pour la Tour Eiffel. Ça n'a pas marché. Nous, on a acheté. On va les visiter tantôt. Et à l'autre côté de la rue, à votre gauche, vous allez voir une fontaine à feu rouge à gauche. Puis, c'est les escaliers de le métro de Paris. Vous êtes de Paris? Moi, je suis de Paris-Ci. Alors, c'est un cadeau en bronze de Guimard. So, ladies and gentlemen, across the street on your left is another gift from France. They're the Parisian metro staircases in bronze. Beautiful Art Nouveau. On your port bow. That's right, you got it. Kitty corner. Alors, on revient sur nos pas. pour nous rendre à arène numéro 1. Alors, ça va être votre dernière chance pour le Vieux-Montréal et quartier chinois. You guys, we're going to turn right onto St. Antoine Street. Now, I want you all to look at the end of the street and give me the thumbs up when you see a big clock, a white clock on a brick building, and I'll give you the Saratoga rent. It's as simple as that. And I know the guys are going to like this. I have some treats for the ladies and for the guys, okay? So you give me the thumbs up and I'll give you the Saratoga rent. Here we go. Est-ce que vous voyez au bout de la rue, au fond, où vous voyez l'horloge? C'est le plus grand bar au monde. Okay. Okay, you guys are good. You guys are my scouts. In 1777, Bemis Heights, Saratoga, New York, it was the Battle of Saratoga. Burgoyne surrenders his sword to a young, lean Horatio Gates. Bravo, America, you've thrown off the yoke of King George. It's the birth of the United States. Who cares? In 1786, where you see that big clock, the largest brewery in the world opens its doors. Beer. Molson, oh man, talk to me. And the richest Canadian to die from Montreal aboard the Titanic was Martin Molson. And the first cruise ship from Montreal to Quebec was a paddle boat called the Accommodation, John Molson's paddle boat. Alors, où vous voyez l'horloge au bout de la rue, c'est le plus grand brasseur au monde, Molson. Puis à votre gauche, vous avez le quartier chinois. Et on va être rendu à numéro 1. C'est votre dernière chance pour le Vieux-Montréal et Notre-Dame, mes amis, et quartier chinois. So you guys, we're going to go around a few more. They're the police, just act natural. You guys, we're going to practice a few more times, okay? We're going to go around and do this a few more times. No, we're going to stop here, and then the next stop will be the village. We're going to go downtown after that. On your left, can you see the pagodas? Isn't that beautiful? The pagoda. Yeah, we're Old Montreal again. Do you see the pagodas? Yeah. That's on. Now that was a gift from the People's Republic of China. Last week we had a group from France. They said, "Don't you have anything of your own here in Montreal?" That was. Alors, voyez-vous à gauche, vous avez les pagodes sur le toit de. So we're heading north by northeast, and our next stop will be number 3, the village, and then we're going to go downtown. Things are going to get busy. I have some more things for the gentlemen, and for the ladies, I got some goodies for you at stop number 6. Yeah. And a promise made is a debt unpaid. We're going to be going to our Harvard Yard, McGill, so lots of goodies coming up. Everybody comfortable? Amazing what body heat does, huh? Amazing. Like a herd of turtles. Yeah, à votre gauche, c'est le centre hospitalier de l'université. Okay, who's been to the Chateau Frontenac, Quebec City? The Chateau Laurier, Ottawa. Oh, gorgeous. Why didn't the Chateau Laurier open up on time? Because every stick of furniture for the hotel was aboard the... You guys, 98%. 98%. Coming up is our Chateau Vigée. These were high Victorian hotels that were built by an architect named Bruce Price. He called it the Scottish Castle style. It's no longer hotel, but condos. You know what I mean when I say condos, right? Private apartments. Alors, bientôt, à votre droite, vous allez voir le fameux hôtel Château Vigée. C'est comme le Château Frontenac à Québec. C'était construit pour le chemin de fer Canadian Pacific. Il n'est plus. Hein? Ça va être des appartements privés. Des condos. Now, the great bard John Donne took off his wig, threw his plump finger in the air and said, "A man is not an island." Well, I don't know about that, John, but Montreal is. We have 22 bridges and 1 tunnel. And in front of you is the largest bridge at the east end of the island, Jacques-Cartier Bridge, built in 1929. On a 22 ponts sur l'île de Montréal. Devant vous, c'est le plus grand pont à l'est de l'île, le pont Jacques-Cartier, conçu en 1929. Let's talk about more writers. Mr. Clemens. Who was Mr. Clemens, everybody? Oh, okay, that's it. 100. You get the gold star. Mark Twain came to Montreal. When he went back to the Mississippi, he said to Mr. Franks, his publisher, said, Mark, do tell, how was Montreal? Mark Twain stood up in his white sartorial suit and said, Mr. Franks, you could not throw a red brick without breaking a stained glass window. A lot of churches. We have 218 churches on an island that's 50 kilometers long and 16 wide. On aime ça, et on a, sur l'île de Montréal, on a beaucoup des églises, hein, au-dessus de 218. Okay, guys, there's no hiding it any longer, okay? It's time to talk about the great white elephant on this bus, poutine. It rhymes with Celine. Comfort food is all about the texture going down, is it not? Rubbery cheese curds swimming in a hot, glutinous, primeval, primordial mass of freedom fries and gravy. We know what to do in Montreal. We're going to wash that down with a liter of Pepsi. Oh, no. And then we're going to follow that up with a beaver tail beignet with extra Nutella. Oh, no. At which point you're going to have to work that through the arteries manually with thumb and index. Stick a fork in me. Poutine. Alors, mes amis, le prochain arrêt, c'est la Village Gay. C'est bientôt, on va être rendu. Cette partie de Sainte-Catherine-Est est piétonne pendant 4 mois, pendant tout l'été. Reconnue pour des restos, des boîtes de nuit et de théâtre burlesque. On your right, that says cauchemar in French. You see the poster? That means nightmare. It's the Halloween party. Hey, we should have one aboard this bus. You know what? I have a little Halloween special thing for you. Just before we get to the St. Joseph's, I have a little something for you for Halloween. Okay. So, folks, this is number 3, the Gay Village, St. Catherine Street East. Montreal is a place where people from all over the world, whether you're green, black, purple, or yellow, or whatever, we just get along, okay? We're 4.3 million people on the island, and off island, and we had our 21st homicide 2 days ago, this year. Yeah, we have no gated communities. We get along fine, for the most part. By the time we get hot under the collar, it's time to put us back in the freezer again. It's winter. Alors voilà, mes amis, si vous voulez descendre pour Sainte-Catherine-Est, anybody want to get off here? Our next stop will be number 4, the Latin Quarter, and we show no quarter when it comes to boutiques and restaurants. Called the Latin Quarter because the universities, right? Latin, one of the classics. Yeah, but hold yourself well, huh? That's right, hold on tight. Another brave man is going up to the fighting top. Yeah. Alors, that's right, climb the yards. Alors, on va être rendu à numéro 4, mes amis, le quartier latin. It's like a dentist. Puis la rue Saint-Denis. So we're going to go north by northeast, and then we're going to swing left, we're going downtown. We're going to head north by northwest. Okay, we're going to visit Ladies. We're going to visit our 5th Avenue of Montreal. We're going to visit Harvard Yard of Montreal, McGill. À votre gauche, on est en train d'installation d'un système d'aération pour le métro. Ça fait 1 an de ça. Okay, you guys on your left, this won first prize last year at the International Scaffolding and Orange Cone Fest. What we're doing, it's taking a year to do that. We're installing an air intake unit for the subway. Ladies and gentlemen, where does time go? It's time for Funny Names for Irish Pubs number 2 already. After the red cones on your right, Funny Names for Irish Pubs, pub number 2, You're Maud. You're Maud. Great name for a pub. You're Maud. You're Maud, lad. Okay, you guys, get off my bus. Get off my... Okay, now, you guys, you have to help me. I'm somewhat perplexed. What is it about North American cities and the Greyhound bus terminal? It's always in that special part of the city, suspended in time and place. It's always that same dude at the payphone. Ladies and gentlemen, on your right, coming up, this could be Corpus Christi, Texas. It does not matter any. The Greyhound bus terminal. Alors, devant vous, prochain arrêt, à votre droite, vous avez le Grand Bibliothèque, 10 ans déjà. Et à votre gauche, UQAM, l'Université du Québec à Montréal. Puis c'est numéro 4, la rue Saint-Denis. Très important comme rue, hein, à Montréal. Très francophone. You guys, have you noticed something? Bicycles, unicycles, tricycles, quadricycles, inline off-road. If it's got wheels, we're on it. Where are you going, man? I'm going to work in a February snowstorm. We get dressed up like ninjas to go to work on our bicycles in February. Where are you going, man? I'm going to work. Where the water bottle should be is a can of WD-40. There are over 1,000 kilometers of these bicycle paths in Montreal. And to... Yeah, you hold her up there. Welcome to the party. There's no money, I checked that pocket. Okay. Okay, I certainly hope so. I was counting on it. All right. Yeah, what a guy. All right. Yeah. The things I do. Moonlighting. Okay. Are we ready? Okay. No, are you kidding? Okay, do you like vegetable gardens? Okay. Coming up at the next traffic light on your right is what's left of a community vegetable garden. We have thousands of these in Montreal. So what are the three sisters? Beans and squash and corn will grow. Beans and squash. I have an 8-year-old daughter. That's right up there with baby beluga. Okay, look to your right. We've done the harvest. Regarde l'impact. We have these are all midgets. We have a very good team. Well, what we do is we put them in suitcases. It's easier to travel. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for 25 years, I earned my living as an orchestral bass player, playing Mahler and Bruckner, of all things. That's what I did. Yeah, again. And there you go. Look, what's in front of you? That's where I used to work. It's the concert halls of Place des Arts. And look at me now. That's where an arts degree gets you. Yeah, I used to work. That's right. Retired, bought the farm, 75 acres. So, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, some people are dentists, some people are accountants. You know, it's okay. Okay, in front of you are the concert halls of Place des Arts, home to the Montreal Symphony Orchestra, conducted by Kent Nagano, who was a disciple of Seiji Ozawa in Boston, who was a disciple of the great Leonard Bernstein in those hallowed rolling Berkshire Hills of Tanglewood, Massachusetts. I miss you, Lenny, but I know you're making Bruckner and Mahler symphonies up there with another Promethean who passed away last year, Lauren Meisel of Vienna. But I digress. Devant vous, vous avez Place des Arts, les salles de concert. OK. Puis vous avez l'Orchestre métropolitain, l'Orchestre Montréal, les Grands Ballets canadiens et l'Opéra de Montréal. There's an art to that. We both went to boarding school and we had a good education. Of course, he's Prime Minister of Canada. I'm working on the big bus. All right. Are we turning right? Yes, eventually. Alors, à votre droite, vous allez voir des luthiers. Hein? C'est des luthiers. Huh? So you guys, on your right, we're going to see a very famous violin maker in Montreal, Jules Saint-Michel. Violins, nice, eh? Violins, violas. And he's also the ambassador of Hungary to Montreal. Jules Saint-Michel, we're going to see his violin workshop, and he has a wonderful violin museum. Yeah, we like music. It's right up there with books. Remember those things with spines and you crack them open? Books. Alors, à votre gauche, vous allez voir le fameux luthier Jules Saint-Michel, un atelier de lutherie. Puis vous avez aussi un musée. Okay. So on your left is Coyote Corner. I want you to count how many coyotes you see. This is where we have our blues festivals. Okay, see the coyotes on the left? I used to be a coyote, but I'm all right now. See the coyotes? Look, how many coyotes are there on the left? One. Yeah, same with me. Can't get rid of them. Yeah, at the farm. Why? We also got turkeys coming in from New York. No, they roost. They walk. Do you know why? Because it's the harvesting of the corn. Lots of turkeys up from New York and Vermont. Okay. The next stop. Okay, this is for the guys. For the guys, our next stop is coming up and it's a convenience store. Now, gentlemen, you can buy beer and wine anywhere. You're in Quebec anytime. You don't need a convenience store, package store. In 1915, Canada was dry and women got the vote. Prohibition, but not here in Quebec. In 1915, the streets were flowing with Irish whiskey, and women didn't get the vote here until the Second World War. Terrible. I'm just a messenger. I'm just a messenger. And you guys, on your right, we had an accordionist from Paris. He collided with two municipal buses. This is what happened, but it's okay. Everybody's good. Now, so this is our next stop. That's for the kids. No, it's not. Our next stop is number 5. Alors, voilà, mes amis, on va rendu à numéro 5, le quartier des spectacles. Et à votre gauche, c'est le musée de l'art contemporain. On your left is the Modern Arts Museum, the MAC. The MAC. So guys, there's the convenience store. Now ladies, I want you to adjust your bustles. I want you to tighten your stays. Gentlemen, I want you to find your best chinchilla and beaver top hat. And I want you to call for a cab. We're going to the Ritz. The first Ritz-Carlton in the world. Okay? Where the first transcontinental phone call was received from Vancouver. Buddy. And Richard Burton married Liz Taylor for the second time at the bar. Oh, it's okay. It's not important. The Ritz. And you know, Elizabeth, you know what we're famous for in Montreal? Plastic surgery. And it's okay. I've had some done last week. But no, are you kidding? No. Only for me. Yeah, I'm getting. And I even wear a man's ear now. But listen, do you know Elizabeth was visiting the second time for a little nip and tuck? When Richard received the bill at the bar at the Ritz, his face lifted all by itself. Okay. We're also going to my old alma mater, McGill. Could have studied in Houston, but I stayed at McGill. It's like Harvard Yard, Yale, Princeton. Opens its doors in 1812. Got its charter. Opens its doors in 1817. McGill. We're going there now. We're going to the Golden Square Mile. Okay. Alors, regarde à votre droite, mes amis, en prochaine feu verte, vous allez voir les Blues Brothers qui dansent sur le toit de la maison de jazz. Can you see? That's a jazz house. Yeah, that's right, the Blues Brothers. That's cool, eh? I remember. And on your right is the Faculty of Music. Check it out. You're going to see a statue of Queen Victoria. And the architect is the same who did Chateau Frontenac. I spent hours woodshedding in there, yeah. Years woodshedding in there. Okay. Alors, on va visiter notre université de McGill. McGill, on appelle ça un Ivy League. Hein? C'est comme Yale, Harvard. C'est le même style. OK, ouvre ses portes en 1817. So in 1870, 70% of Canada's wealth was in Canada. In 1820, we were a more opulent port than, you guys are killing me, than Manhattan, briefly. Now, who built America that you know? Who were the magnates, the shipping magnates, the railway engineers, the lawyers, the doctors? For the most part, 70% of them were of ilk of Brit and Scots. For the most part. Then, for the most part, the blue-collar workers were the Irish. I'm generalizing. Okay, here it's the same thing, and the French. So we're going to what we call the Golden Square Mile. I'm doing a special tour at the end through McGill. So we're going to take a look. Yeah, we're going to go to Downton Abbey country now. Okay, so here we go. Whoop. So we're going to turn right. On va tourner à droite sur le collège de McGill. Puis quand on va tourner à droite, vous allez voir à votre gauche notre arbre symbolique de Montréal, les pommiers sauvages. You guys, we're going to turn right on McGill College. On your left, in the median, is our symbolic tree of Montreal, the crabapple tree. Now, when I was at McGill, we used to harvest that fruit around now and make juice so tart it ripped the skin off your nose. We used to pitch wine yeast. Now, it seems like just yesterday it was convocation. Nowadays, they're running after the cell phone companies are running after the graduates. In my time, it was a race between the credit cards. And I remember going in, and I remember going into the Visa tent, and there was a guy there. Remember the green big pens at the time? Green big pens. Anyway, so there was a guy there at the Visa tent. He had a big barrel of chocolate bars. He said, "Come in, man. What are those colors?" I said, "Performance." He goes, "Are you an artist?" I said, "Well, I guess so." Was it an arts degrees? I said, "Yes." He reached down inside the barrel deep. He pulled up a Nielsen Crispy Crunch. He handed it to me while quietly ushering me out of the tent, wishing me the best of luck. That's a true story. Yeah, hilarious. But it's okay. Bought the 80-acre farm. I was good at what I did. Okay, guys, à votre droite, c'est l'université de McGill. Hein? Puis vous avez la grande bibliothèque, ici, à votre droite. And you guys, coming up is the William Shatner Student Union Building, our first Canadian in outer space, a good Jewish boy from Montreal, got himself an MBA. Alors, et à votre droite, vous allez voir la librairie de McGill. You guys, coming up on your right is the McGill Bookshop. Great place to get souvenirs. 5 floors of books and coffee and souvenirs. À votre droite, c'est Gestion McGill. We're about to cross Peel Street. Who is Robert Peel? He founded the first modern police constabulary, Scotland Yard. A policeman's lot is not a happy one. To keep an eye on the Peaky Blinders in Whitechapel. On your right is the Renoir restaurant, where you're going to pay $95 for a breakfast omelette, and you're going to like it. Alors, devant vous, à votre gauche, il n'y a pas mieux. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the big houses of the movers and shakers of the 19th century. And on our way back, I'm doing a special Downton Abbey tour we're going to talk about. So if you're from the States or Canada, this will touch your history. The third flag from your left on the Ritz-Carlton, the farthest flag away on your left, is the flag of Montreal. It has a white background. That's Louis XV's military flag during the French Indian Wars here. Okay? George Washington saw that flag on a constant basis as a young man. You have the Red Cross of St. George, and you have the 4 founding members from Europe, with Montreal represented by flowers. Let's face it, of North America. The lily for France, the rose for England, the thistle for Scotland, and the shamrock for Ireland. Ladies, I promised you, a promise made is a debt unpaid. This is for the ladies. On your left, Beaux-Arts Architecture, Tiffany's. On your left, Art Deco Architecture. That's Frank. Tell him I want the pizza all dressed. On your left, Holt Renfrew, where you can buy that Sonia Rykiel vintage bathing suit for $42,000 for that special trip to St. Kitts. And ladies and gentlemen, in front of you, 3 city blocks of designer clothes. No, you won't find a Tommy Hilfiger sign there, love. No, that's not the phone number, that's the price of the dress. Nuts, huh? All right. Alors voilà, mes amis, on va être rendu à numéro 6, Musée des Beaux-Arts. Numéro 6. You guys, we've arrived. Number 6, the Fine Arts Museum, built in 1914. Hey, where do we go when we need marble? No. Vermont, on your right. Pennies in an open street. That's Vermont marble, near Vergennes. Anybody been to Vermont? Basin Harbor. Bon, continuation, mes amis. Attention, vos chevilles. Don't thank me, tip me. Get off. It's a really good espresso. It seems to be working today. Every time I touch this, it's the dental drill. That's my dental drill. Is it grounded up? It's grounded. It was glued to the ground. No, it's going through me right now. Isn't that? It's humongous. Humongous. It was an oratory. I'll give you the Roman Catholic breakdown. When the Pope comes to Montreal, he's got office business to do. He goes to the cathedral. That's the office. When he goes to party, he goes to a basilica. When he goes to pray, he goes to an oratory. That's the breakdown. Okay. It's a church. You guys, we're going to take care of my tips here. Just be patient. Collecting my tips. That'd be great. That's Christian charity for you. It is Dennis. He moved up here. You didn't know that? Yeah, he says hi. He said, I got myself a gig, man. I've got religion. Yeah, last time I saw him, he was in Tawasin. I don't know.
This guy's lost.
Where are you folks from? Oh, God, get me there right now.
Yeah.
I have a friend, I got a chance to work with some commercial house there in Wisconsin. Yeah, oh, I could do it. Arizona. No, because then it becomes a root canal. Okay, now you guys, do you know what our biggest export was post Second World War? Horse meat to Europe. Yeah, a starving Europe. So that was our biggest export at the end of the Second World War. Sorry, I don't know why I brought that up. We still eat horse meat. Yeah, they call it chevaline. Whoop. On your left, if you look through the trees, it's very old. It's one of the oldest English cemeteries in North America, 1812, 1811. And when you look through it, looks like Sleepy Hollow. The Irish and the Scots are also resting there. Very pastoral and bucolic, somewhat like an old Joshua Reynolds painting or an old English Gainsborough painting. Folks, in about 500 yards, I want you to look left. You will be able to see the Laurentian Mountains, an hour and a half northeast of Montreal. Very, very, very old, very ancient. And right now, something I enjoy is motorcycling out there, watching the leaves turn. If you go out there now, you'll see all the retired accountants and their wives with their sidecars, with their big Roadstars and FLH. It's kind of hilarious. Anyway, so there you go. And pristine hunting and fishing, beautiful lakes, old money. When Winston Churchill came to Canada, of course, with during the Second World War, he stayed there for a week for talks up north. So the big end of the Edwardian money in Montreal. Huge hunting and fishing villages. Okie dokie. So folks, we're gonna stretch our legs for a few minutes. Please stay close to the vehicle. I'm not going to leave without you. A gorgeous view, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking north by northeast, okay? There it is. That's who we are, North America in the east, our St. Lawrence River. It's who we are. I can hear Nadia's theme right now. It's the Olympic Stadium. You know, we have one of the largest engineering firms in the world. And we had to go to Paris and hire a dude who never saw an icicle in his life, but that's okay. Roger Taillibert. It's called Organic Architecture, and it is returning to the ground as we speak. Behind the stadium, do you see the big lake boats? They're waiting, okay? Because mooring fees start from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So if they're not ready to unload or whatever, they're gonna wait out there. They're gonna hang out outside there. So isn't that gorgeous? Anyway, enjoy. You're looking north by northeast, okay? New York State is down there to your right, and Vermont is over on the other way. Yeah, that's right, behind you. So plan an invasion with this one. These guys from Arizona, they don't fool around. It's arid, you know. Whoa, he does that in a very manly manner. And if I go to the top deck, I can do my impression of Buster Keaton with that. Okay. Do we have anybody upstairs? Yeah. They all came down. Knock 3 times on the window if you want me, twice on the pipe. Is there anybody upstairs? If there is, stomp your feet violently. Hold on. Oh my gosh, that's haunted. It's haunted. Okay, Captain, are we going under the overpass, sir? Where would you like to go?
Doesn't matter, it's up to you. What do you want?
We'll go around. Is that all right?
Around?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Look at that, huh? Tony, amazing. The best. I call him Mr. 100%. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, just briefly, the St. Lawrence River. Who's been to Niagara Falls? Niagara Falls, Ontario. How much water goes over the falls every second? Don't say all of it. 30 million liters a second. And that was 2 weeks ago. Now it's here. Next week it'll be in the Atlantic. You know the old adage, right? That was the river, this is the sea. Okay? So lakes run into rivers, rivers go to the ocean. I'll give you the breakdown in 40 seconds. We're 2,100 kilometers from the Atlantic Ocean to the highest, deepest river, Lake Superior. Okay? So, there you go, Lake Superior. Let's give it a hand. Lake Superior, everybody. Yama. Okay, now. So,
I missed it because
so, now, we're 189 meters lower than where you live here, okay? And it's 1,600 kilometers from the mouth of the St. Lawrence to the Great Cape Vincent, which is where the Great Lakes, Lake Ontario starts to be a river, okay? Now, every second, and we're going there now, our current in Montreal, the displacement of water is about 12,000 cubic meters at 7 knots. Yeah, if you work with big ships, it's awesome. And it's only 8 meters deep here in Montreal. So our channel is dredged for 12 meters. That's why the huge ships don't come through here. One, they can't go under the power lines after Quebec, and the other is that the huge tankers, they can't come in here. Okay. It only starts getting deeper after Quebec, and that's where it starts to get salty as well, because we're too far for the. We do have levels that go in and out, but we really don't have the tides. But after Quebec, it starts. So there you go. I'll give you an example. The Mississippi runs by at about 18,000 cubic meters, but not at 7 knots. Okay, so anyway, that's about it, and we're going there now. We're going to go to the lookout. Okay, restaurants. If I didn't have to work today, I would take you for lunch at Atwater Market. Atwater Market on your big map is in the lower left quadrant. It's on the green subway line. Atwater Market is like when you go to the south of France or Italy. It's one of the largest flower markets in Canada. So when you go there, you have an indoor market, which is 19th century, and an outdoor market. You can go there and you go to the bakers, you pick your baguettes. You go to the organic meat counter, you take your pâtés. You go to the vegetable, it's something for everybody. And then they have places where you eat. And you can pull corks, and you're in Quebec. Okay? So one of the highlights of your visit will be Atwater Market. Okay, you were the Alpha Guide. I never, if I'm on a serious tour, I let people know about Atwater Market. You have to go. So it's open every day. And what I'm going to do is on our way home, I'm going to show you where to go and take the subway, and in 6 minutes, you will be at Atwater Market. So I won't forget about you, okay? That's one option by the Lachine Canal. That's what makes our standard of living high here in Montreal. One of them is Atwater Market. Yeah. Now, tonight, you could go downtown, but it would be like downtown Boston bars, which is cool. But I would hang out, and I was there last night eating at a very good restaurant called the Petit Plateau. I wept, it was so good. And not because I was having with my ex. We went out to dinner. But, what? So now what you do, yeah, Marjorie Jack. Time for time, you know? Anyway, so tonight on the Orange Line, you get off at Mount Royal, and there you will be at the apex at the crossroads of Mount Royal and St. Denis Street. That's like going to the Village in New York. That's where we all hang out. The best restaurants are there, the shopping, the Victorian houses. It's awesome. I call it the vernacular, right? That's okay. And then on our way home, locally, where we're going to stop, I'll show you some restaurants as well. On your right is the Mount Royal Armory, our most famous Quebec regiment. Elmer Fudd, our most famous Quebec regiment is the Vendus out of Quebec. Okay, we have the oldest regiment, the Black Watch, founded in 900 AD in Scotland. We're home to the Royal Fusiliers, the 5th Grenadiers, the 78th Frasers, and the Royal Fusiliers. Okay, to quote John Wayne, we've arrived at Mount Royal Park, a great place to go picnicking. Okay, but not today, unless you have a Mickey. Now, 900 acres. So this is, we in the winter we go skiing, skating, tobogganing. In the summer we go horseback riding, we go jogging. 900 acres of Scandinavia. Isn't that beautiful? That's our park.
Still at the cemetery.
Yeah, meanwhile, back at the cemetery. Now, on your, if you look straight ahead on the horizon, on your right, that's the largest selfie stick in Canada. Coming up, you'll see it on the horizon on your right. It's the largest selfie stick in Canada. And coming up on your left, I've had the good fortune to work with these horses for period film. They're Canadians. Now they're mostly geldings. They're from Regina. They're an amazing cavalry horse. They're famous. They're not as jittery as, let's say, Arabians. I've seen these boys work parties. Okay, they're used by the Royal Mounted Police, and they were bred in the west of Canada. And right now, I know that last night they were treated to a double feature on Netflix: Seabiscuit and Warhorse. And we're going to see them out. They should be out today on the left because this is great weather for the horses. So they should be out on your left, coming up. And you see the selfie stick on your right? In front of you. If you look straight ahead, it's the big antenna. All right. Now they should be out. You'll probably see them riding around. Yeah, gorgeous horses. Very smart, very funny. Hey buddy, look, he's had a roll. Oh yeah, beautiful. Very smart. On your left, the Spandex Festival. Popular colors this year: lemon yellow, cadmium red, and seafoam blue. It's not true. It's not true. The colors, because of our warm weather, they're not as striking, but I'm not complaining. The colder the nights, the hotter the days, the more brilliant colors you get. But we've had it good for a while. We've had some very warm evenings. Yeah, it was nice. That's why we went out. Yeah, perfect evening. It would be like that all. So this is number 8, and then number 9, we're going to get off. We're going to stretch our legs. What are you guys doing? You going to come down and warm up with us? Yeah. Okay, cool. One gentleman's trying to pry his wife's white knuckles off the railings upstairs. Hold on, I just got to give her a hand. I'm sorry. I don't know where this stuff comes from. Help me. Okay, folks. So listen. We're off like a herd of turtles to home base. I call it home base, right? Or base 0. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some restaurants, and we're going to visit the Golden Square Mile. You know, when you go to Lower Harlem River, or you go to Boston or Montreal, these are where we have the oldest, largest Victorian mansions, because we started in the east. So we're going to visit that, and then we'll be home for lunch.
Yeah, that was a nice day, yeah.
That was pretty cool. Yeah. All right. Home base is Dorchester Square. That's where we started. It's in the downtown. It's where the question mark is on your Wii map. That's what I call base camp. And then if you guys want to continue, you want to go to number 1, you've got to take the next bus in front of you. You're going to have a new guide. And you're going to have a new driver and a new bus. Okay? So in other words, folks, when we get to base camp, okay, this bus is not going anymore. I'm going to have lunch. But if you want to continue to number 1 again, you'll ask my driver. He'll show you. It should be the next bus in front of you. Okay, and then they'll go to number 1. We're good. Yeah. Versteht? We're good. Okay. So you guys, we're going less and less to church. Could we be going to iChurch? Yes, ma'am. A lot of our convents, seminaries, and churches are being changed into community centers, which is cool. Condos, and even mosques. Sign of the times. And here's an example of one. At the foot of this hill, we're going to see, and this is typical of this 19th century Catholic institutionalized architecture, it's the old convent of the Sisters of Reparation. But it's no longer a convent, they're condos. Remember, tell me, when will you be mine? Condo, condo, quando. And so I want the apartment with the rose window, please. So here we go. Look in front of you, you'll see. And we have hundreds of these in the city. So here we go, in front of you, there it is. Isn't that beautiful? So how many sisters are living there now? None. Yeah, you know what? You'll be rid of me in a few minutes. Isn't that, huh? You'll be rid of me in a few minutes. And then when we get to the stop sign, to your left is the Jewish Quarter, Park Avenue, home to Mordecai Richler, Leonard Cohen, William Shatner, the Montreal Bagel, Romanian smoked meat. I call it the mustard line, because the yellow line, because you need mustard everywhere. Hesky's Kosher Bakery and Walensky's Kosher. Okay, so on your maps, the big maps, if you get off at Laurier Metro, which is a stop after Mount Royal, which is where you guys want to hang out tonight, you'll be in the Jewish Quarter. And you don't have to be Jewish to be there, because the kids have taken over. It's all amazing restaurants and boutiques and everything. Okay, you'll see the Hasidim darting in and out and stuff. It's all good. All right. On your left, let's play ball, Fletcher's Field. And on your right is Jean Mance Park. Jeanne Mance was a brave woman. While all the guys were out chasing beaver pelts, she started the first hospital here in 1642. And on your right, you're going to see one of our fathers of Confederation, Georges Etienne Cartier. And behind the statue is the famous cross on Mount Royal, which was put there in the 1960s. The original was put there, was put there in the 6th of January, 1643. Remember, Montreal started as a Catholic mission. Fresh airs for the kids. I have an 8-year-old. She's the same thing. She's a Nordic. She doesn't feel the cold. Okay, you guys, we're going to visit McGill. So here we go. Fasten your seatbelts. Things are going to get busy. We're going to talk about the Titanic, the American Civil War. We're going to talk about a bit about everything 19th century. On your left is the Hotel Dieu Hospital, founded 801 years ago in Paris, in front of Notre Dame. Okay, that's the original, where my dad was born, 1925. On your right is home to Canadian football, the Montreal Molson Stadium, CFL football. And on your right is the Curry Gym, huge giant sports complex, where I used to be on the Epee team 100 years ago. In front of you, it's all student housing. Don't ask me what the enrollment is. I was there in the early 80s. But it's big. And that's all student housing. Okay, we're going to visit McGill Medicine. So here we go. Yeah, the Molson Stadium. A real old-fashioned stadium, right? Like our Grand Prix track, it's an old-fashioned track. You're right on top of the cars. If there's a crash. Okay, on your left, Oncology Medicine McGill. And on your right, big faculty of family medicine. At the second traffic lights, on your right, the world-famous Montreal Neurological Institute, founded by Dr. Wilder Penfield in the 1940s. He was the doctor who mapped the human brain, Montreal. And that's one of the 3 most important neuro research centers in North America. Okay, across the street on your right is the largest Victorian hospital in North America, the Royal Vic. There's not one church mouse in there. They did a giant move 3 months ago to the biggest hospital I've ever seen in my life, the Mega Hospital. And you know what's fantastic? I met somebody who works for this man. They hire a company to do a move. It took 4 years, and they do it in 1 day. That is interesting. I like stuff on that scale, because it means precision. I think it's cool. And I find it's fascinating. So what they do is there are these companies that say, yeah, I'll move your hospital. What is it, in 5 years? Okay, 1 day. And not anybody had a sprained finger. We're talking people on dialysis. And I think it's fascinating. Anyway, and then across the street on your left, ouch, dentistry and anatomy. Yeah, here. Oh, yeah. Two, yeah, 1 is the deep drill. And 2 is one where they're getting the pulp out. Oh, God, you guys are awful. Okay. Okay, now, Downton Abbey fans, in 400 yards on your right, Tony's going to stop for a tiny second. It's where the first SOS of the Titanic was received in the world on land. It's the largest Tuscan mansion. This is the real Downton Abbey story. The name of the house, Raven's Crag. The owner of the house, Sir Hugh Allen. Remember we spoke about him, he had ships all over the world. It was while having breakfast in his tower, watching the ships coming in and out of the harbor, that he received the first SOS in the world of the Titanic. Coming up in 100 yards, look to the right. Okay, isn't that gorgeous? It's Tony's a sweetheart. He's going to slow down for a second. There you go, on your right. That's now. How's that for a Tuscan mansion? Thank you, Captain. You know, he turned to his wife, and this is a quote. He said, "Darling, do you realize our house is a hotel for servants?" Thanks a lot, Captain. Thank you. Isn't that fantastic? Raven's Crag. Do you know what it is now? Psychiatry. Yeah, they're the ones who had all those LSD experiments in the 50s. Okay, yeah. Okay, you guys, on your left, Civil War fans, are you ready? This is Mortimer Davis's house. On your left, what did Mortimer Davis do? In 1862, he thought things over. He secured, are you ready? You're not going to believe this, 60% of Southern tobacco was brought up to his McDonald's for curing. The South wasn't going to give it to the North. Can you imagine how much money this man made in 3 years? I can't even imagine. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going left. It's the Faculty of Law. This beautiful brick house was the Lady Meredith House. She was the niece of Sir Hugh Allen. I'm going to talk about the Ross family. James Ross was the chief engineer of the Canadian Pacific Railway. A very rich man. They only had one progeny, one son, John Kenneth. I'm going to tell you the story. Life is a box of chocolates. James Ross gave his only son these two matching houses coming up at 100 yards on your left. They're Beaux-Arts houses. So here, John Kenneth, I love you, my son, take these houses. So these two houses coming up on your left, that's a gift from Daddy. Dad's house is the last house on the right. It's the largest Victorian mansion in sandstone from New Brunswick in Canada. The house on your right is Daddy's house. It's called Chancellor Day House. So before he died, he gave him the 3 houses. These are 1, 2, 3. John Kenneth. Okay. Then he gave him his priceless art collection and all of his money. What did the son do? He had a party. Yeah, you can see where this is going. He gambled everything in 4 years. He died on the streets, penniless. Sad, terrible, eh? But this, you know, life is a box of chocolates. And on that happy note, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for my driver, Tony. He's the smoothest driver in the fleet, and he's the only man who can make paint cringe on a Boxster and not leave a trace, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Tony and myself, Swan, with 2 N's, you guys have been very gracious. We had a great time, great tour. If you've enjoyed your time with us, you can show your appreciation by your generosity upon leaving the vehicle. We tip the old guides. We're splitting our tips. We're going to steak and fries. Are you ready? Here we go. At the end of this street, look straight ahead, you're going to see construction. On the left is an alley. When you walk to the next traffic light and turn right, it's l'Entrecôte Saint-Jean. It was founded on Saint-Jean Street in Quebec City 34 years ago. It's a beautiful Parisian bistro. You can have the table for $24. They have some wonderful burgundies from Pauillac this year. Okay, so we're talking white tablecloths, brass balustrades, and not expensive food. Very good. I've been taking, my family's been going there for about 30 years. Okay, so there's one option. We've got a few options ahead of us. Okay, so one option is when you go down the street, you're going to see construction. At the end of that next block, just turn right, and it's right there on the corner. L'Entrecôte Saint-Jean. Very good bistro. Okay, that's number 1. And then we're going down Stanley, right, Captain?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Okay, good. So the next restaurant, and I love this, Indian food. I'm not talking about a heavy, greasy, it's called the Taj Tandoori Oven. Really good. Okay, so that's our next stop. Okay, so we got French Bistro, number 1. Now, anybody from Canada here? Pierre Elliott Trudeau used to hang out at the Alexander's Pub. International pub, very good food. I'm going to show you that on the way too. That's where Justin Trudeau's dad used to hang out. Very good food as well. We have that coming up as well. All within a 1 block radius of our destination, which we'll get to in about 6 hours. And remember the Orange Cone Fest. Sorry about that. But you know, it's gonna be done, and it makes the world go round. Work. It's good. On your right are the Cartier Apartments, 1970s. Starting rent, $7,000. We're talking the 1.5. And on your right is a famous hairdresser's. My mom used to go there, the La Coupe. I think they've been going on for about 30 years now. One of the most famous, La Coupe for men and women. La Coupe. That's our future. Yeah, in Germany we call that a Schwarum, mushrooms. Okay. Oh, there's that drill. Okay. So we're going to turn left. This is Stanley Street. And at the end of this street, I have a friend. You guys, that's the Bell Center where the hockey player is. The hockey is played. Okay. At the end, we're going to turn on down the street. At the end of this street, we're about to turn on is the Bell Center on your right for hockey fans. Okay, on your left, the Taj Mahal restaurant coming up right now. Very nice lunch menu, guys. Some good basmati rice. Oh, with a light curry. You don't have to have it spicy. Huh? It doesn't have to be hot. Okay. He's from Vancouver. He's from Vancouver. Yeah. There's nothing you can tell a Vancouverite about Indian food. You just can't. All right. You guys, if you have a car and you come to Montreal, ditch it, burn it, throw it in the river, give it to a friend. Montreal is very safe. Our subway systems are clean and very safe. I don't say this lightly, I'm your guide. You can walk around Montreal. If you're not looking for trouble heading in the north, you're fine, okay? It's a very safe, so chill out. I don't take that lightly, by the way, I'm your guide. Relax, you're fine. Okay, so again, if you turn left and walk, if you get off the bus and go left, go right to the corner, that's L'Autre Côte Saint-Jean. It's on the corner of Peel Maisonneuve. If you cross the street, you have Alexander's Pub. Okay. Then you have the Taj. These are all good restaurants. You will eat well with them. Coming up next, Subway. No. If you guys want to eat Italian food, at the next block, just before the Bell Center on your right, are 3 very good Italian restaurants. But down at the past the second traffic light down there on your right. But you know, try and eat some French, you guys, from Arizona. Go for the other stuff. Okay, now. Are you going to turn left now or the second one, Captain?
Left.
Yeah, okay, good, thank you. Boy, we're getting the real treatment here. Okay, so now Tony's going to turn left, my captain, and on your right is Reuben's. Great smoked meat. Okay, now clean, fresh deli food, and guys, the best breakfasts in Montreal. Okay, I know you can go for the yogurt and the fruit mug, but man, do they have really good buttermilk pancakes. Okay, so a huge fresh food, Reuben's Deli, can't go wrong. Okay, coming up on your right, folks, Reuben's Deli, can't go wrong. And if you're into big breakfasts, amazing. Okay, now French bakery. This is where I'm going for a quick sandwich. Pain doré. Okay, you're here in Little France. You're going to eat beautiful croissants, fresh salads, wholesome food, and great coffee. Do you see where on your left the Eagle Outfitters is across the street? Right to the left of that is the bakery. Hey, salut, guys. Compañeros. I'm a river to my people. Okay, so there it is, a Pain doré, the bakery. That's where I'm headed to grab a quick sandwich. And then last but not least, when we stop the vehicle, in front of you is an Avis rent-a-car. To the left of it is an amazing restaurant. It's the Dominion Square Tavern. When I was a boy, I used to eat pig's knuckles there. It's no longer a tavern, it's a really good restaurant. Okay? And that's it. So in the words of Julia Child, bon appétit.